Picture the corner of your bedroom where you keep things you do not look at often, the box on the high shelf, the drawer you have not opened in months, the item someone gave you years ago that you kept out of politeness. I know what is in some of those places, and I know what it is doing. Stay with me. In the next 30 minutes, I will show you exactly which objects in your home are opening doors to spiritual darkness, and the Catholic remedy for each one. I am Father John Miller, 30 years as a parish priest. I have heard more confessions than I can count. I have sat with people in hospital rooms at the end of life, in conversations that happened after everyone else left. I have been in homes where the spiritual atmosphere was so oppressive you could feel it the moment you walked through the door. I am not going to give you something theoretical. I am going to give you what I have seen. God already knows, and He is still here. I will not give you comfort tonight. I will give you clarity. Comfort without clarity is anesthesia. I will not tell you that every object is dangerous. Most things in your home are neutral. A coffee mug is a coffee mug. A photograph is a photograph. But some objects are not neutral, and the difference is not superstition. It is spiritual law. I will tell you which objects matter, why they matter, and what to do about them. Then you decide. Here is what is actually happening. There are objects in your home that function as material anchors for spiritual influence, not magical influence. I am not talking about Harry Potter logic where an object has inherent power. I am talking about consent. The lie underneath it is this: objects are just objects. Intention does not matter, and the spiritual world does not care what you keep in your house. And as long as you believe that lie, you will wonder why certain temptations keep coming back, why your prayer life feels dry, why your home does not feel peaceful. The Church has a name for this. It is called the principle of sacramentals in reverse, which means simply, if blessed objects can be channels of grace because of the Church's prayer and your faith, then cursed objects, objects tied to sin, objects that represent consent to evil, can be channels of oppression. In Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 26 we read, "You shall not bring an abomination into your house and become devoted to destruction like it. You shall utterly detest and abhor it, for it is devoted to destruction." That is not a comfort verse. That is a map. God already knows, and He is still here. I sat across from someone once. I will not tell you who or when, but I will tell you what they said. They came to me because their adult son had moved back home after a divorce. Within 2 weeks, the atmosphere in the house had changed. Arguments that had not happened in years, sleeplessness, a sense of dread in certain rooms that had never been there before. I asked what the son had brought with him. Furniture, they said, boxes of books, personal items. I asked if any of those items had come from the marriage, specifically from the ex-wife's family. Yes, they said, a small carved statue, African art, they thought. It had been a gift from the ex-wife's mother, who practiced some form of syncretist spirituality, mixing Catholicism with indigenous ritual. The statue was in the son's bedroom. It had been there since he moved in. I blessed the house with exorcised water. I instructed them to dispose of the statue, not to sell it, not to give it away, but to destroy it and discard it. They were hesitant. It seemed extreme, but they did it. Within 3 days, the house felt different. The arguments stopped. The son, who had been angry and defensive since the divorce, softened. Sleep returned. That is not a fairy tale. That is what happens when you remove an object that has been given implicit consent through association with occult practice. You may be in the middle of that same story right now. God already knows, and He is still here. The first remedy is this: identify and remove any object in your home that was used in occult practice, divination, or witchcraft. Here is why it works. When you keep an object that was used to invoke spiritual entities, a Ouija board, tarot cards, items from a seance, charms or amulets from non-Christian spiritual practices, you are keeping a material sign of consent. You may not believe in those practices now. You may have used them years ago as a joke, but the consent was given. and consent, once given, remains attached to the object until it is renounced and the object is destroyed. I sat with a man in his 50s. For 14 years he had struggled with intrusive, blasphemous thoughts during Mass. He had been to confession dozens of times. He had seen a therapist. Nothing changed. During a pastoral conversation, I asked about his past. He mentioned that in college he and his roommates had used a Ouija board at a party. Just once. It was stupid, he said. They were drunk. I asked if he still had it. No, he said. But his roommate did, and that roommate had given him a book on spiritualism as a graduation gift. The man had kept the book on a shelf in his home office for 26 years. He had never read it, but it was there. I told him to burn it, not throw it away, burn it, and to go to confession, specifically renouncing any consent he had given, even unknowingly, through that practice. He did. The intrusive thoughts stopped within a week. Not slowly, abruptly. Do this today. Walk through your home and identify any object that was used in occult practice. Ouija boards, tarot decks, dream catchers if they were purchased from practitioners who explicitly tied them to spiritual invocation. Books on witchcraft, spiritualism, or New Age practices that you kept from a time when you were experimenting. Amulets, crystals, or charms that were blessed or charged by non-Christian practitioners. Destroy them. Do not sell them. Do not donate them. Burn them if possible. Break them and discard them if not. The mistake most people make here is sentimentality. They think, it was expensive, or someone gave this to me, or I don't believe in it anymore, so it's harmless. Avoid it. The object is not harmless. It is a sign of consent. Remove the sign. God already knows, and He is still here. The second remedy goes deeper, because the first one only works if you also do this. The second remedy is this: remove or radically limit access to pornography and any technology that has become a habitual gateway to it. St. Augustine faced this directly. In his Confessions, Book 8, he describes the torment of habitual sexual sin, the pattern of resolution followed by collapse, repeated for years. What he learned was that the occasions of sin must be removed, not merely resisted. He writes, "I was held back by mere trifles. They plucked at my garment of flesh and whispered, 'Are you going to dismiss us?' Those trifles were the environments and access points where the temptation was strongest. He had to change his physical life, not just his interior resolve. Do this today. If you have a smartphone or computer in your bedroom, move it out. If you have privacy in your use of devices that no one else in your household can see, remove that privacy. Install accountability software. I do not care which one, but install one and give the reports to someone who will ask you about them. Warning: most people try to manage this through willpower alone. They think, I will just be more disciplined. That is not how the brain works. The neural pathway is already carved. You need to block the access point, not rely on your own strength in the moment of temptation. This is not about shame. This is about spiritual warfare. The enemy does not fight fair. He waits until you are tired, lonely, or stressed, and then he reminds you that the access point is 30 seconds away. Remove the access point. God already knows, and He is still here. The third remedy is sacramental, and it is the one most people skip. The third remedy is this: bless your home with exorcised salt and holy water, using the prayers of the Church. This is sacramental. The Church has been doing this since the earliest centuries. The Book of Blessings contains the formal rite for blessing a home. The older Roman ritual contains prayers for blessing salt and water specifically for exorcism and protection. Here is how it works. You obtain holy water that has been blessed with the exorcism formula. Not just blessed, but exorcised. You can ask your parish priest for this, or you can bless salt and water yourself using the traditional prayers if you are in a state of grace. You walk through your home, room by room, sprinkling the water in the corners, over doorways, over beds, and especially in places where you have felt spiritual oppression or where habitual sin has occurred. As you do this, you pray, not your own words, the Church's words, Psalms, the Our Father, the Hail Mary, the prayer to Saint Michael. I sat with a woman in her 60s whose home had been the site of a traumatic event years earlier, a suicide in the family. Since that time, she had felt a persistent heaviness in the house. She had tried to ignore it. She had tried to pray it away with her own words. Nothing changed. I came to her home and performed a full blessing using the Roman ritual. I used exorcised water. I prayed the Psalms slowly in every room. I spent extra time in the room where the death had occurred. She told me later that the heaviness lifted that night. It did not come back. Do this today. Obtain exorcised holy water. If your parish does not have it, request it. Walk through your home this week. Sprinkle the water. Pray the church's prayers. Do this especially in your bedroom, your children's bedrooms if you have them, and any room where you have experienced spiritual struggle. Warning: people misuse this sacrament by treating it like magic. They sprinkle the water and expect instant results without confession, without amendment of life, without faith. That is not how sacramentals work. The protection comes through the Church's intercession and your cooperation with grace. If you are in mortal sin, go to confession first, then bless your home. God already knows, and He is still here. The fourth remedy requires honesty most people are not ready for. The fourth remedy is this: remove or destroy any blessed object that you have treated with irreverence or that has been in your possession during a time of grave habitual sin. I have watched this fail too many times to soften it. Here is what people do instead, and why it does not work. They keep a rosary on their nightstand while using their phone for pornography in the same room. They keep a crucifix on the wall in a house where they are living in unrepentant adultery. They wear a Saint Benedict medal while harboring unforgiveness or engaging in occult practices. They think the blessed object protects them despite their sin. It does not. A sacramental is not a magic charm. It is a sign of faith and a petition for grace. If you are living in unrepentant mortal sin, you are rejecting grace. The object cannot override your will. Worse, and this is what I need you to hear, keeping a blessed object while living in grave sin can become a form of mockery. You are asking God to protect you while you are actively choosing to reject Him in your behavior. The remedy actually works like this. If you have been living in habitual mortal sin and you have blessed objects in your home, you need to go to confession first. Then you need to decide, am I ready to live in a state of grace and treat these objects with the reverence they deserve? If the answer is yes, keep them. If the answer is no, or if you are not sure, remove them temporarily. Put them in a drawer. Do not display them. Do not wear them. Not until your life aligns with what they represent. I sat with a man who had been wearing a Saint Benedict medal for 8 years while cheating on his wife. He told me the medal had been given to him by his mother before she died. He wore it every day. He thought it protected him. I told him the medal was not protecting him. It was a sign of his mother's faith, not his own. And while he was living in adultery, wearing it was an insult to her memory and to the saint whose intercession he was claiming. He took it off. He went to confession. He ended the affair. 6 months later, after consistent sacramental life and real amendment, he put the medal back on. He told me it felt different, because he was different. Do this today. Look at the blessed objects in your home: crucifixes, rosaries, medals, icons, holy cards. Ask yourself honestly, is my life aligned with what these represent? If the answer is no, remove them until it is. Not forever, just until you are ready to honor what they are. God already knows, and He is still here. The fifth remedy is the one that makes the others stick. The fifth remedy is this: remove any media, shows, music, games, books that normalizes evil or makes the demonic familiar. This is not optional. Without this, the other 4 will not hold. Here is what it requires. You need to be willing to stop watching, reading, or listening to content that treats demons as entertainment, that glorifies violence or sexual sin, or that presents occult practices as neutral or positive. I am not talking about fantasy literature where supernatural elements exist within a moral framework. I am not talking about depictions of evil that are clearly condemned. I am talking about content that makes you comfortable with darkness, horror films that glorify demonic possession, shows that treat witchcraft as empowerment, music that celebrates nihilism, blasphemy, or destruction. The spiritual mechanism is normalization. The more you expose yourself to images and narratives that depict evil without condemning it, the less sensitive your conscience becomes. The demonic stops feeling dangerous. It starts feeling familiar, and familiarity is the beginning of consent. I sat with a young man in his 20s who had been experiencing violent, intrusive thoughts during prayer. He was terrified. He had been to confession. He had tried deliverance prayers. Nothing worked. I asked what he watched. He listed several shows, all of them in the horror genre, all of them depicting graphic demonic content. He watched them to relax, he said. They did not bother him. I told him they were bothering him, not consciously, but spiritually. He was feeding his imagination with images of hell every night before bed, and then wondering why his prayer life felt like a war zone. He stopped watching them, cold. He replaced them with nothing at first, just silence. Then he started reading the lives of the saints before bed. The intrusive thoughts diminished within 2 weeks. They did not vanish instantly, but they lost their power. Say this quietly, right now. Lord, show me what I need to remove. Then do this. This week, look at your streaming queue, your music playlists, your bookshelf. Ask, is this content making me more sensitive to grace or less? Is it helping me see evil clearly, or is it making me comfortable with it? If the answer is the latter, remove it. Cancel the subscription. Delete the playlist. Give the book away. If you do only one thing from this video, let it be this, because the other 4 remedies address objects. This one addresses the steady drip of content that shapes how you see the spiritual world. God already knows, and He is still here. Now, a specific action tied to what we have covered. This week, walk through your home slowly, not quickly, slowly. Go room by room, open drawers, look on shelves, in closets, under beds. Ask yourself, is there anything here that was used in occult practice? Anything tied to a time when I was far from God? Anything I have kept out of sentiment that I know, deep down, should not be here? Write down what you find. Do not overthrow everything in panic. Write it down. Then decide what to do with each item. If it is tied to occult practice, destroy it. If it is media that normalizes evil, delete or discard it. If it is a blessed object you have treated with irreverence, put it away until your life aligns with it. Then go to confession, not because finding these objects is a sin, but because removing them is a decision, and you need grace to follow through. After confession, bless your home with holy water. Ask your priest for exorcised water if you do not have it. Walk through every room. Pray the church's prayers. In the comments, write one word, cleared. That tells me you did the walkthrough. I will pray for everyone who writes it. Let us pray. Slowly. Lord Jesus, we bring before you the places we live, the rooms where we sleep, where we work, where we struggle. We confess that we have kept things we should not have kept. We have allowed into our homes objects, images, and influences that do not honor you. We do not ask you to take everything away immediately. We ask you to give us the courage to remove what needs to be removed. We ask you to show us clearly what must go. We do not ask for strength we do not have. We ask for mercy we do not deserve. God already knows, and He is still here. Amen. Remember what we covered. Objects used in occult practice must be destroyed, not kept. Pornography and the technology that enables it must be radically limited or removed. Your home must be blessed with the sacramentals of the church, exorcised water, prayer, intention. Blessed objects that you have treated with irreverence must be put away until your life aligns with them. Media that normalizes evil must be removed from your daily consumption. God already knows, and He is still here. If this is useful, subscribe. There is more where this came from. When you are ready, the next video covers the 5 prayers the enemy does not want you to know. It connects directly to what we talked about today, because removing objects is half the battle. The other half is spiritual protection through the prayers of the church. I will see you in the next one.